This is Newcap News.
Well, we know the weather can, of course, be unpredictable, and because of the unseasonably warm temperatures lately here in Lloydminster, ice surfaces have been forced to close prematurely. Angie Mellon has more.
The City of Lloydminster is asking residents to be cautious of thin ice, which can be dangerous to those who decide to go on it. The rescue squad says if you happen to fall in, the temperature is your biggest enemy.
The best thing for you to do is hold on, call for help. Struggling and fighting through the ice, if you're close to shore, maybe. If not, your best bet is hopefully somebody comes to get you, because you're going to use every bit of energy you have just to stay warm.
And if you see someone has fallen through the ice, the rescue squad urges you not to try to rescue them yourself and instead call for help.
Putting yourself at risk is not the best way to go about it. Without proper protection, ice suits and whatnot, you're going to run into a situation where you're going to be the next victim.
The following ice surfaces have been closed, including the lake at Bud Miller Park, Russ Robertson Arena, and the Service Center Outdoor Oval. The surfaces may reopen depending on conditions.
With the weather we've been having, it's hard to say. I think it's going to be a bit of a timeline. We'd have to have some pretty good cold weather to get some new ice formed.
As of right now, the ice surfaces remain closed, but if they do reopen in time for the end of the season, the rescue squad still urges people to be careful.
Until it's well seasoned and strong ice, I wouldn't venture on it.
The city also urges residents to be careful of melting snow, which can lead to basement seepage or interfere with property drainage. For Newcap News, I'm Angie Mellon.
Home and business owners in the border city will soon know their property's worth. The city mailing out property assessments this week for 2017. The residential assessments are based on the market value as of July 1st, 2016. And like in many other municipalities, a slowing economy is expected to take a toll on those values.
We are anticipating that on average they will likely decrease as well.
Funds collected through the property taxes are reinvested into the community, funding local programs and services. In the 2017 budget, City Council voted to raise municipal taxes by 4% to help balance the books, and officials aren't expecting lower property values to affect their revenues.
We are anticipating about a 4% increase in the revenue. So I guess when the assessments go out, you're going to have that as your factor, and then the mill rate will be set later on in the spring. And in combination, that should produce the 4% increase in revenue we were looking for.
The deadline to file assessment complaints is April 24th, and if property owners do not receive their assessment by March 3rd, they're asked to contact the tax department. Cattle market analysts say the price of beef will decrease this year, while international trade agreements will become even more important for the success of Canadian producers. Brian Lentz with more.
Presenting to cattle producers during Agrivisions, Ann Wasco says to expect a downward trend with prices, driven in part by the American cattle herd.
The U.S. cattle herd's been growing very aggressively since 2014, so cattle supplies are up in North America. They're not up in Canada, but our prices follow the U.S. markets.
Wasco adds North American demand has not kept up with supply.
Canadian and American consumers really aren't eating any more meat per person. It's a pretty stagnant market, whereas the big growth markets are in Asia.
Wasco says with those growing markets, it is necessary for Canada to pursue trade agreements with countries in that region.
Absolutely imperative, because at the same time there's other trade deals going on around the world. For example, Australia with Japan, and they have a bilateral trade deal, and so we're already seeing their tariff rates drop below ours, and so then that puts us in an uncompetitive position.
Another trade agreement to impact our cattle market is CITL between Canada and the European Union. Wasco says recent progress is a positive sign, but some clarifications are needed.
Good news. We know in a big deal like that, it's going to take some time as far as getting to the final endpoint. And certainly from a beef perspective, there's still certainly some technical issues, as we call it, or the devil's in the details.
Back in North America, President Trump's talk on NAFTA has been causing some concern. But after listening to Wasco's presentation, local farmers say they believe our American neighbors will be reasonable.
We've been trading a long time, and they realize too that it's beneficial both ways to have equal trade. So he was going to change the NAFTA agreement, but now he's just going to tweak it. So it's we'll see where it goes. But
as for how the current herd size and trade agreements will affect the cattle market going forward,
Now as we go into 17, we know there's more supplies, but maybe that big adjustment has been put into the marketplace. Overall, I still think we're going to see some lower trends than we saw last year, but maybe and hopefully not the big spikes down that we saw as we headed through 2016.
Brian Lentz, Newcap News.
Well, we all know Reading Week is a time for students to catch up on studying, but are students actually doing that? Our Chantel Germo finds out some of the different measures students can take at this time of the school year to cope with academic stress.
As Reading Week comes closer to an end, many students take the time to go out of town on a trip, attend social events, or even sleep. And Dean of Student Services at Lakeland College stresses that students should be balancing both schoolwork and relaxation during the break.
The students are going to know what balance they need in their life, whether it be taking some time to relax, whether it be studying the whole time, and you know how hard you can push and when you need to take a break. Sometimes it takes somebody like our wellness advisors, counselors, our academics to work with the students and see.
Using this time to pause and plan ways to reorganize schoolwork for midterms and finals helps balance education and gives students the opportunity to reevaluate their own mental health status. Services at Lakeland College offer different coping strategies for stress.
Looking at it from sort of a holistic perspective, you want to ensure that you do self-care strategies that address sort of mental wellness, physical wellness, social wellness, because it's all interconnected.
Lakeland College will be hosting a wellness fair next month for students in the community to find out what services are available for financial, educational, mental health, and social wellness. Chantel Germo, Newcap News.
February has long held associations with mental health, also being recognized as Psychology Month. In this week's Healthy Living, Josh Ryan looks at how the perspective of the practice has changed and how more people are utilizing the support services.
A poor economy, winter blues, and more education on mental health has more people than ever looking for assistance.
There are a lot more people accessing the services of a psychologist today. For example, the emphasis in the media on the importance of recognizing and getting help for mental illness.
Research is showing more and more that emotional health affects physical health, and I think people are becoming more aware of that these days and realizing that the importance of dealing with their emotions.
Many people encouraged to seek counseling do not suffer illnesses such as depression, but simply require help in dealing with relationships and other day-to-day issues.
People come in not necessarily when the wheels have fallen off the bus, so to speak, but just as a preventative measure. People will come in to talk about what's going on in their lives, to get a different perspective on things.
Not necessarily at all mentally ill, but are in various ways struggling with some maybe a recurrent pattern and habits of thinking, feeling, responding in relationships.
There's a variety of therapies, but even the act of talking to someone else and getting issues off of one's chest has dramatic results with emotions.
You kind of have ability to release them more, so you're not walking around all day in a negative state like anger or grief or sadness. Just finding ways to let that go has a very positive impact on the body.
And in a climate that is far more understanding of mental health, people are less hesitant to share with others that they are receiving treatment.
Some people really do promote it in the sense of once they get involved, they see the benefits and they want to encourage their friends and family and other people they know to come and see me too.
Josh Ryan, Newcap News.
A recent symposium on technology in agriculture in Melfort got an update on nutrient stewardship. Gerard Lampow finds out how producers can benefit from better nutrient techniques.
As producers, they're looking for evidence-based solutions to some of the challenges they're facing in the fields, and so they can look at the results of some of these studies and make some small changes on their farm perhaps that they can use to better their operations.
Fertilizer or 4R nutrient stewardship is an effective tool which producers can use when looking at beneficial management practices or BMPs. Blake Wyseth is a research specialist with the Saskatchewan Ministry of Agriculture.
There's been a lot of talk recently about a concept called 4R nutrient stewardship, which we are advocating as a ministry for sure. And this really looks at how we can apply our nutrients according to the right source, the right rate, the right time, and the right place. And if producers are able to consider these factors when they're making decisions on applying nutrients to their field.
Research projects like these are funded through the Agriculture Development Fund. YSETH gave these producers an update on the use of phosphorus.
There have been a lot of questions recently about how we can effectively manage our phosphorus that can improve crop yields, of course, but also limit perhaps negative impacts in the environment insofar as phosphorus entering our water bodies in the province.
Phosphorus is applied usually through fertilizer, so it's important to practice concepts like 4R nutrient stewardship to get the right amount at the right time and in the right place.
I think producers are wanting to see that these concepts that we're advocating have been demonstrated in the field, in the research.
Gerard Lampow, Newcap News.
This is Newcap Sports.
It was a good night for the Rustlers women's volleyball team Wednesday, but this time off the court. The ACAC held its annual awards banquet ahead of today's conference championships, and a few Lakeland women were handed hardware. Lance Phillips with more.
So that's where it started. The summer after
when the all-conference award winners' names were announced at Wednesday's banquet, 3 Lakeland Rustlers women were among the 10 chosen. A real honor considering all the great players the conference boasts.
It means a lot. You put in a lot of hard work and everything. I wouldn't be anything without my team or anyone that passes me the ball. I wouldn't be able to set it. So, it means a lot to me, but it's really big for our team to have 3 people up here and to represent our team.
Ray having a bounce-back season from last year as she ended up losing her starting spot throughout the year and had a couple setbacks, and then she bounces back and has a great year and has worked real hard and improved immensely this season and helped us get us to where we are right now.
It's huge for our program. It's great to see our team doing so well, and I'm really happy for Ray and Annika as they worked hard this season too, and over the last years too. So
this is 4 years of hard work for her. Coming through and being recognized by her peers is a huge testament to the amount of work that she's done. She came in and wasn't very good at the beginning, and she's worked her butt off to get to where she is right now, and she's gotten dominant and been great.
It's awesome. I put in all the work. Our whole team puts in the work, and it's just awesome when we get results.
Annika's been an all-star all 3 years of her career. She's been a phenomenal player for us, and hopefully that continues throughout her career. And so, not surprised that she won. But again, it's excellent to be chosen by her peers.
After the banquet, the room cleared quickly, with thoughts turning to the upcoming games. For Lakeland, it means a challenging meeting with the ACAC South's number 2 team, Briarcrest.
I don't think they care who the opponent is. They're excited to compete and play.
I have no words to describe my feeling. I'm so excited for tomorrow, and I can't wait to leave it all on the floor.
The Rustlers don't have long to bask in their awards glow. It all gets started Thursday, and a chance for Lakeland's women to play on their court in front of their fans, and for the first time since 2013, earn a win and a spot in the conference semifinals. Lance Phillips, Newcap Sports, Lloydminster.
And the Bonnyville Pontiacs have been well represented at various levels of hockey across North America, and players aren't the only ones being noticed for their skill. Head coach and general manager Rick Swan has on numerous occasions been recognized for his coaching abilities, and recently was selected to coach Team Canada West at the CJHL Prospects game in Cornwall, Ontario. The game took place at the end of January, and Swan feels privileged to have been a part of it.
The CJHL Prospects game was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and when you're as old as I am and you've been around the game as long as I have, you recognize that those opportunities are privileged opportunities, and it was a real honor for me. It was a real great opportunity and honor for the Bonnyville Pontiacs, and a real great honor for me to represent our league as well. And I enjoyed myself. It was a first-class run show, and it really gave me a real perspective on how the NHL does things to prepare for their draft.
Team West won the game 4-3, but there was much more on the line for Swan than just the W.
You're representing Team West, number one, you're representing the Alberta Junior Hockey League and you're representing your organization, but from a personal standpoint, you feel a little bit humbled to be in that situation.
There was one aspect of the experience over and above everything else Swan was really impressed with.
I think that more than anything, just how committed these individuals are, and then their just standard of excellence is at a level higher, and this is why they're in that game.